Yo, how's it going everybody? You got Sketch here and welcome back to the channel. On today's episode we're checking out an arcade re-release of a game that blends two of my favorite things together, being pinball and run and gun games. That's got a splash of Mercs and Smash TV in the mix. We're looking at Nitro Ball, developed and published by Data East, released into arcades in 1992, and will come to the Nintendo Switch via Johnny Turbo's arcade from Golem Entertainment in summer of 2018. This is an arcade title I'd never heard of until seeing a Shmup Junkie video a while back and finding it in the Nintendo eShop, and this one is certainly a trip. Let's throw a couple quarters in this thing and check out the story. Nitro Ball is real simple. You're a contestant of the pinball worlds and you need to blast through 5 stages of pinball themed arenas and earn cash and prizes to eventually become the Pinball King. Gameplay wise, you've got an overhead run and gunner fused with the theming and sensibilities of Data East pinball machines. As mentioned earlier, think of Mercs and Smash TV and pinball all thrown in a blender, and that's roughly the gist of what you get here with Nitro Ball. You have a base rifle that can shoot in all 8 directions on the axis while moving and locks your shot when you're stationary. You've also got a crush bomb with your standard weapon, along with several special weapons you can find amongst the arena like flamethrowers, missile launchers, and homing shots. There's also parts we can turn into a pinball and ricochet around the board, taking out enemies and interacting with the pinball elements like the ramps and drop targets. When you down enemies, most will also roll up into a ball, so getting them near scoops or targets can trigger bonuses. There's also special bonus sections where you'll need to destroy certain amounts of elements or shoot enemies towards certain targets to beat the world's high score. Match or exceed the score, and you'll get a bonus chance for an extra life, and match the last 2 digits of your score is another chance to get bonus stocks as well. But much like actual pinball, unless I hit a replay, I typically never get bonuses on matches. You can also shoot spinners and bumpers, revealing bonus points while also destroying parts of the environment as well. At the end of each stage you'll have a boss fight, which is also timed, so you're encouraged to hurry up, much like certain features in actual pinball machines. Once you get past those, you'll head to the bonus screen, which will break down your stats for each stage. Boss fights can get pretty rowdy, but once you see their patterns and use elements of the board to your advantage, you'll be able to smoke most bosses pretty quickly. Graphics wise, Nitro Ball is an interesting case, merging the worlds of run and gun and pinball together in a really cool fashion. Each board is saturated with bright colors and tosses in some gnarly themed boards like the aliens and ghost machines. You get some decent variety between machines, and they all got several unique drop targets and spell out short phrases. The screen often erupts into chaos when the enemies and obstacles, and it holds steady at just about every moment. Action stays at a steady clip here, and beyond the run and gun hype, it also generates the feel of getting a really good run of pinball, which graphically it pulls off very well here, having each progressive piece of the playfield being more insane than the last. Bosses are all huge sprites and will at times have additional hazards like the alien world boss, which will throw slices of the arena at you. Sprite work is pretty rad here, and several enemies will roll up into pinballs to perform skill shots on the board. There's also various treasures and bonus items on each stage, and these can range from cars to airplanes and mountains of cash and prize jewels. You'll see loads of bonus items around the map, and if you can get to them, it'll help you get closer to that base score for each level. The opening cutscene and the cutscene with the score breakdowns in between are simple but effective, also retaining that feel of pinball end screens and seeing how your score compares to the current champ. This is a sick concept, and it would have been awesome to see a sequel for this before the company stopped producing arcade titles. There's a pinball machine that's based on this game that would also be really interesting to see, considering Data East Pinball Division had some bangers in their catalog. Sound-wise, Nitro Ball is pretty sick with a slamming soundtrack and some weighty effects work. Data East arcade games tend to have some bass in their cabinets, and this one is no different. Composer Mauro Raiko pulls some energy out of the sound hardware, not only does the music, but also the effects work here. The stage tunes switch it up a fair bit with a variety of vibes, with the opening stage coming out swinging with a track that feels like it's straight out of a 90s game show frenzy, along with several belters throughout the game's 6-stage run. The Alien World tune also slaps something fierce. The sound effects also smoke here with some nice and crunchy audio hits as you run through each area. It's nice that you get some pinball machine style sound bites accompanied with a run and gun carnage. Weapons also got a good bit of punch, and the explosions got some oomph to them. There's also a fair bit of speech synthesis with Steve Miller as the voice of the announcer, and it sounds very similar to the announcer from Smash TV, though it is not Paul Hayes, but they are close in tone and delivery. Each stage has unique voice lines and cues, so you'll hear a good bit of stuff during the game's 30 to 40 minute runtime. Each down enemy has their own unique battle cries, so the sound work is a solid attribute across the board. Nitro Ball is a very awesome concept and does both the run and gun and pinball style of play very well. It's challenging if you want to go for high scores and no death runs, but if you have a grasp of pinball or shooters, its mechanics will click together relatively quickly. It's a fun one to run through every now and again to try to top that last score or go for another good ball while destroying everything in your path, including parts of the playfield itself. Once you get the plunger, the action kicks off and doesn't really let up until the end credits, so this one is a certified banger. Nitro Ball gets an 8 out of 10 and comes highly recommended to run and gun fans as well as pinball fans, since this one has got both covered. For a genre crossover merging the two together, it's a ride of a game to play through, and if you got a squad, you can get a multi-ball on screen and battle for that top spot. Data East has a long history of arcade and pinball games, and I'm surprised this one doesn't come up a lot more than it does, considering how fun it is. If you like either run and guns or pinball games, you'll dig this one for sure. This is available on the Switch eShop for about $10, and if you see a cabinet in your area, give it a shot. Otherwise, play this one however you can if it strikes your interest. interest. And I thank you again if you made it this far into the video. If you find these videos helpful, that's awesome. I'm glad you use it as a resource. Check back often. We'll have more reviews and commentaries coming up in the near future. But until then, take it easy and stay safe out there. I'll see you on the next one.